Hey gamers, today we're going to look at Simurgh, or however it's pronounced. Okay, so I'm showing you this with the expansion here. This is a huge space hog here. In fact, this is my hand here. So I mean, the boards are, but just the baseboard is really huge, and then the expansion is right over there. So really wild stuff. I'm just gonna have to show you this one at a time. First off, setup is pretty easy. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start off with one of these tiles here. You can play Spearman mode or Dragon Lord mode. Just means less items you can hold, makes the game a little bit harder. Whichever mode you pick, you put it down there, and then of course you get your starting resources that are here. And the starting resources are veggies, meat, which looks like some kind of bladder, wood, stone, knowledge, which are these scripts, and a spear. Once everyone starts with that, you're going to start with a spearman and a dragon rider. If you have the expansion though, you're going to replace one of your spearmen with a rogue. And then you're going to draw one of these special rogue card abilities, and your rogue will have a special ability, a unique ability throughout the game. Also, if you have the expansion, you'll also start off with a wizard. You can play with the wizard on your regular board. He counts as a dragon rider, or you can put him over here and he can go on a quest to the Dragon Lord's tomb, which is right there at the top of the board. And of course, for that, you would also get a special wizard ability card, unique throughout the game. If you have the expansion, you'll also give each player 2 quest cards. These are just goals they have to meet during the game. They look at both of them, they pick one, and every time they complete one, they put a little dragon token here and here. If they complete both, they get a 3rd dragon token. This can come in handy for in-game scoring. Also, if you are playing with the expansion, you're going to pass 2 of these objective goals out here. They're going to look at both, choose one. Whenever they fulfill a certain thing, like I got 2 wood this turn, I'll put a dragon token here, and if I do it again, I put a dragon token here. When I do that, I activate the card, remove the dragon tokens, put them back in the supply, flip it over, and from now on, whenever I get a wood, I get a veggie and a wood, you know. So it basically gives you a little extra perk in the game. Now for the expansion, you're also going to be shuffling this deck and putting out 4 of these cards. These are cards that you get rewards from when you're collecting all your vassals, and I'll explain what that means later. You would get this reward on the left, and everyone would get the reward on the right. Now, if you aren't playing with the expansion, you also get a little spell book for your wizard. You'll shuffle this deck, start everything with the flags up there on that corner. If you see the other end, there is no flag there. And then put it over to your board. This is going to be a book of spells you're going to be casting to move around the expansion over there. And for the base game, and both types of games, you're going to be giving out 4 different types of tiles randomly to each player with these 4 symbols on there. And then you'll shuffle the rest of the tiles and put them here on the deck. Now, you remove a few of these tiles. I just put the rest of them up here. But the thing is, though, with this, there are 4 different types of tiles here, and there is a 5th one. If you have the expansion, it's called leadership tiles. They have a different marking than the other ones do. But you'll shuffle those in if you have the expansion. Now, the last thing you get is a dragon. You randomly choose a dragon from the dragon tile deck and put 3 dragon tokens on it. These dragons look awesome. And these will give you like free actions in the game. So whenever you remove one of these, you'll get to take that action, whatever it says. And the rule book tells you what each dragon's ability does. It tells you what every card does, every tile does, because there are even tiles that are here on the board. They even have a number over to the side, and you just have a reference guide in the rule book which tells you exactly what each space does. But it's fairly simple to understand looking at the iconography. I can't imagine anyone having too much problem with this. Another thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking this stack of in-game scoring objectives here, and you're going to shuffle it and put it over here, and those will go out here. You're going to have your little cardboard token counter, place it here on the 0. You'll be moving around this board here, getting points, and then you are ready to go. Now, This is simple worker placement. It's very easy. What you're going to do is you're going to be taking your spearman, or if you have the expansion, your rogue, and then your dragon rider, and they're going to be placing them on the board and getting that action. Now, as you see, there are 2 extra spearmen here. I've kind of laid them down so you can see them, and an extra dragon rider here. Everyone will have 2 extra spearmen and 2 dragon riders they can purchase later on in the game. What this symbol means is that anyone can go here, you know, as many people as you want. What this symbol means here, when it has just a single circle, only one person can go there. If it has the dragon symbol on it, that means only dragon riders can go on those spaces. So a dragon rider could go on those spaces. Now, of course, if you have a wizard, he also counts as a dragon rider, and he can go into a dragon rider space as well. But anyway, those are for dragon riders. And of course, it's an all space. I mean, anyone can go there. Now, a dragon rider can go to a regular area as well if he wants to. So describing these areas are very simple. You just look at the icons. This one gives you a spear. This one you pay. That's why that has the minus there. Pay 2 veg and 3 meat, and you release one of your dragon riders. Or pay 3 veg and 1 meat and release one of your spearsmen into your group. Now, once you release them all, that doesn't mean that's all you can ever get, because there are cards in the deck that make you pay 1 dragon rider. You have to, I guess, kill one off or sacrifice a spearsman, and they just go back into this pool where you can purchase them again. There are areas where if you play a brick and a stone, you'll get 2 spears, or just get 2 knowledge, or come here and get 1 veg or 1 victory point. Pay 2 stone, get 2 dragon tokens. As you use one of these are called main actions here on the board. Here's another one you can get dragon tokens too. 3 wood and 2 dragon tokens. Why would you need dragon tokens? Well, after you do a main action, you can do as many of these little free actions on the dragon as you can, as you want to. And they just do different things, but you just remove the token and take the action. Once that's done, your dragon is tired. If you want to recharge him, you go up to one of these 2 areas on the board, and you can pay the cost and recharge him. But when you put these down, they have to be from left to right. So for instance, if I have it all empty and I got 2 of them, I couldn't put them here on some of the stronger ones. I'd have to start here and go up that way. And that's on every dragon. So you can have multiple dragons in this game. Now over here, if you want to pay 1 of each resource just about, you can look through, it says 3 dragon tiles, pick a dragon and fully charge him. It's basically how you're training dragons here, how to train your dragon. If you're playing with a base game, you're not going to have a place to put these dragon tiles, but however, if you have the expansion, they gave you a little spot where you can stack the dragon tiles. Basically what you do is you take 3 dragon tiles, look at each one, and these are just cool dragons, man. And then you just pick one of these dragons that you want to use and then fully charge him there. And then you put the other 2 tiles on the bottom of the deck. But you can have as many dragons as you want, because remember, those are free actions, and you can really get some good combos with those dragons on there. I should also mention you can grab more of these tiles here in this spot here, but I'll explain that later. What you do is shuffle this deck, and I forgot you had to put out 4 here, and each of them have a cost at the top, or you can pick a random one by just paying a spear and take the random one off the top of the deck. Another action, which is very popular, is play a tile. When you play a tile, you must play a character on top of that tile. You can't just play the tile and just leave it there empty. Of course, sometimes it'll have the Dragon Lord on there, Dragon Rider, which means it has to have a Dragon Rider attached to it. Or you could play this and put maybe a Spearsman right here and collect the points. For instance, I pay 2 spear, I get 4 victory points. Ooh. Or I pay for food and 9 victory points. That's even better, but I have to have a Dragon Rider to do that. Or I can just put anyone, as many people as you want to, can put Dragon Riders here and get 3 points. Now, how this works, if you don't want to take one of the actions on the board, you take a card from your hand and you play the tile, and then you place it out here in the wild, and there are little areas out there. Now, for a 2-player game, you're just going to have these 3 areas open, but 3, 4, and 5 players, as it says there, you'll add more to it. With some extra tiles, you can block off, like if it's a 3-player game, you probably do that just to block off those little areas and just have 4 areas available for a 3-player game. But anyway, let's say I wanted to play this. Well, on my turn, my main action could be to place this anywhere on the board where it's applicable. So let's say if I'm playing 4 players here, I couldn't play it here, but I could play it anywhere else. I'd put it down and take the reward. I'd take wood, I'd take meat, I'd take veg. I'd take my choice of meat or vegetable, or my choice of stone and wood. I'd do that, and then I'd also have to play either a spearsman or, a dragon rider on this area. And let's say I did. And then I'd pay 4 food from my supply and get 9 victory points and move myself up on the victory point tracker. So that's basically how it works. Now, once you do that, any other players can play on that card. You just open up more worker placement spots. So the next player comes, he says, you know what, I'm going to pay 2 spear and get that 4 points. And then you say, oh man, okay, well I'm just going to come here with my spearsman and get 2 points. Okay, well in a 2 to 3 player game, this tile would be considered full. In a 4 player game, it has to have all 4 spots. 4 or 5 player game, all 4 spots would have to be full. But once it's full, this thing gets removed, the tile gets removed from the game, and it flips over. This counts as an in-game tracker, depending on how long you want the game to go. I think they said a long game is like 14 tiles. Then it would be removed and put in the stack for the end game. But then all the characters that were on that card get returned to the player for free. Now what do I mean for free? Because usually if you placed all your people out on the board and you have no more people left, you have to, as an action, recall everyone back. And that's your whole turn, and that kind of sucks. Now if you have the expansion, like I said, you can pick one of these 4 cards that are out and say, okay, well now that I'm recalling, I'm collecting all of my vassals, I want to receive 2 stone. Well then everyone else would get 1 stone. And then you discard this card and deal out another card, because there should always be 4 of these cards out if you have the expansion. But another way to get rid of these cards would be, well, let's say that all in a 2-player game, all the tiles are full right now. Let me switch out with this one here. All right, just to show you something. All right, let's say all in a 2-player game, all the areas are full, and I want to play a tile, and they'd all have to have people on them too. I forgot, so they all have some people on them here, and he wouldn't be on that, but anyway. So you wanted to play this tile, and there's no place to go. Well, what you can do is you can pay 1 spear and destroy a tile on the board. Now, when you destroy a tile on the board, any pawns that belong to those players go back to those players for free, and then you get to place your tile. The only exception to that rule is you cannot kill off a tile that has, you can't knock off a tile if there is a spot where you can place it. That's one thing. You can't just destroy a tile because you don't want anyone else to have those rewards. You have to, the board has to be full before you can destroy a tile. I don't know exactly thematically what you're doing there. But the only other thing you can't do, you cannot ever destroy one of these tiles. These are like quests that dragon riders go on. When you play this, you would pay the opening cost, and it depends on the card, but they'll tell you what the cost is. This is either 3 knowledge or 3 spear, and everyone will start their dragon rider here, and everyone can play their dragon riders here. This is an all space, and they all get 3 points. After that, the next time they pay one or the other, they move down the board here, and as you see, there's only 2 open spaces here. So 5 and 5, or 7 and 7, or 9, and there's only 1 space there. Now, you could have a race between 2 dragon riders trying to get to the end there. Now, whoever gets to the end there, they got the 9 victory points, and then this card automatically goes away, and all the dragon riders that were on there go back to the players. But this is one of the only tiles you can never destroy. And of course, you can't destroy a tile if there's an open area. So in a 4-player game, I couldn't destroy any of these tiles. I'd have to just play mine there and take the little reward. And of course, I'd have to play one of my pawns here as well. So that's kind of how it goes with tiles. Now to get more tiles, you just go back over here, you can place a man here, get either a wood or a stone, and then it says, hey, grab a tile, and you pay the cost. So let's say I really wanted this one. I would pay the 2 knowledge and take it. Now when you do that, these tiles will move down and over to the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you bring another one out like so. So the cost for the big ones cost a lot, but they do give you victory points. The cost for the last 2 don't cost as much, but they get cheaper as they go around. And if you want to go random, you have to pay a spear, which is kind of a decent price to pay for a random one. The other one is these in-game tiles up here. Basically, you put a dragon rider here, you look at the bottom 3, and then you choose the one you want. Now the game will tell you what each one does. Of course, again, they have the little numbers by each one, but it's kind of easy. Hey, whoever has the most spearmen and food at the end of the game, first place gets 5, second place gets 3. If there's a tie, they both get 3. These are dragons that you can collect in the game, and if you have the most dragon tokens on these dragons, oh look, 14 points, 10, 6, that's really good, especially if you maybe have 2 of these dragons. You're like, ooh, there are some copies of dragons in the game, but not that many. So if you can get, like, maybe if I have 2 of the 3 of these dragons, this would be an awesome one for me to get, because I could recharge them. That's probably worth 14 points at the end of the game. But the cool thing is you get to decide which one of these 3 you want, and then you discard the other 2. They go to the bottom of the pile. After that, you get to choose which area you want to place it down in. Now, of course, a lot of people want to place it down the first area here because it's worth 6 victory points. Then 5, 4, 3, 2. This is also an in-game tracker because, first off, it gives you also rewards too. Spears, stone, wood, your choice of wood or stone, or your choice of, veg or meat. But when all of these are full, that is also signaling the end of the game as well. So either you go up to X amount of tiles, which in the game they suggest 14 for a long game, which is just about right, or when all these spaces fill up. And for a shorter game, you can shorten the spaces here, like when 4 of those spaces fill up or 3 of those spaces fill up. So those are some of the main actions that you can take in the game. Again, free actions are your dragon actions, however many dragons you want in the game. Now, with the expansion over here, this seems like a lot, but this is actually very simple. You have a free action to decide with your dragon, with your wizard here. You can cast a spell. And here, I just shuffled my deck. My first spell, the only spell that's available to me, because I'm not a very knowledgeable wizard yet, is veg and stone. If I pay a veg and a stone, and this is a minor action, I can do this for free, I get 4 mana. What does that mean? Well, mana helps me move around the board. If you see on the board, this says 3, that says 4, that says 7. So I couldn't go there, but I could go here or here if I wanted to. Now, when that's done, I'll turn the page, and that's what it says. You treat this like a book. So you turn the page, and as you turn the page here, you would see, aha, so now I have a minor spell I can do for free, or a major spell, which gives me 9 mana that I can do, but this costs a major action. Now, I should say this, you can't do more than 1 spell per turn. So you say, oh, I'll do that for a minor action. Oh, I'll do that for a minor action. These are free. That for a minor action. This is free. No, you can't do that. You can only do 1 spell, either a major or minor each turn. And a major counts as a main action. So if I had done a major action, I got 9 points. Well, shoot, I could go, that's 4 and that's 2, that's 6. 7, 8, 9. Oh my gosh, I could go all the way over here. Now, when you do that, you skip over the rewards here. You do get victory points, by the way. There are victory points located in between each tile there. But I wouldn't get 2 veg, a meat, and a meat. I would just get the meat there. Or maybe I just went over here and I got 2 wood and a scroll, and then 3 victory points too. So that's not so bad. But you would get the reward as you're moving up to the Dragon Lord's Temple. You go up to the Dragon Lord's Temple and you get some victory points and some dragon tokens. Now, house rule, have to say house rule here. I figure that if you, and by the way, when you recall all your vassals here, you may recall your wizard. You can say, you know what, wizard, abandon your quest. Come with me. We really need you. The kingdom needs you as a dragon rider for the main castle. Once you do that, he may not come back up here and finish his quest. He's done. If you call him, he can't go back. But what we have a special house rule that if you do make it up to the top, it's toward the end of the game if you ever do it, and why not reward that person by giving them their wizard and bringing them over, because there's nothing else for them to do when they've reached there. And what we do is we just put a dragon token on the 1 or 2 or 3 spot, showing that it's been completed. No one else can claim that title. And then we allow this wizard back in the player's pool. Now, that's a house rule, though. But something that we do because it's usually you get up there toward the end of the game and you're like, well, there's nothing else to do there. Well, okay, well then you can take your wizard and bring him over here and have a lot of fun, placing things on the board here. But anyway, so that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to be taking a main action and any free actions you want. Those free actions would be a minor spell if you're playing the expansion, or maybe one of these dragon tiles. Remember, you can have more than 1 dragon tile in the game. I've had 4 or 5 dragons at a time. It's really fun, especially if you can find those combos. You are completing quests for points. You're going up here and getting resources. A lot of times these will give you, going out in the wild is your main source of getting food as well, and certain resources. And then, of course, converting those into points. Here lets you do a lot of other different things as well. But you keep playing until you reach X amount of tiles, like I said, 14 in a regular game, or all those, or a portion of those get filled out, depending on how long you want the game to do. And whoever has the most victory points wins. Of course, you'll count the points on the tracker and then count up any of the in-game points that were on these tiles. Now, one other thing, there is a promo deck that's on Board Game Geek as of this video. Basically, it's just some art cards. Art cards of all the dragons. Yay, nice, don't really care. But then it has extra spells for each player. It has extra quests. extra in-game when you're collecting your vassal cards. It has extra rogue and wizard abilities and little extra bonuses that you can get in the game. So it's just basically extra stuff that came with the expansion. And that's the game. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'd seen this. I've been looking at this on and off for about a year or so. And I was like, yeah, I like worker placement. Let me try it out. Man, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. My brother, who actually came by the table while I was playing with my nephew, said, what is this, the adult version of How to Train Your Dragon? Yeah, it kind of is. You're basically training your own dragons. You're getting all these dragon abilities, and in fact, you get good combos, you can win. The first time we played it, I thought I had a runaway leader problem because I was smoking my nephews. I was like, dude, I'm like, 30 points ahead, 40 points ahead. I'm going to kill them. And then I ran out of resources to start spending. And then they were building resources, then they started spending them. And they caught right back up with me. In fact, the game ended where I lost by 8 victory points at the very end. And if I would have picked one of the, if I would have switched out and gotten the different in-game token, I would have won the game. I was like, oh no, but this is a fantastic game. This is a super fantastic game. It is so much fun to play. Now, the one complaint I have is minor, but it is kind of needs to be spoken, is the cosmetics of the game. I don't understand why you have cubes, cardboard, and actually wooden tokens, and then plastic pieces. It's like they went to game crafters and they just bought everything that was on sale and said, okay, how can we make this into a game? Like me and my nephews and even my gaming group were talking about this. Why not just make them all cubes? Because they fit on that little square perfectly if they're all cubes. Those little cardboard tokens do not fit in the plastic squares at all. And not though the cardboard player token area, it kind of spills out. It's too little for it. But if you had cubes, everything would fit perfectly. And you can have different color cubes for different things, we thought. Or why not just do, if you're going to do some of them wooden tokens, why not all of them wooden bits? That'd be really nice. Why are the characters in plastic? I mean, they're decent, but the thing is though, if you could apply pressure, I'm almost positive you could break those things. Almost, I'm positive you could. You'd have to apply a little bit of pressure, but you could do it. And I'm thinking, why make them plastic? That seems cheap. It's almost like they went to a discount, game part store, board game part store, and cobbled together this game. It's a wonderful game. I also think they went to DeviantArt and purchased some of the dragon art because the dragon art looks awesome. And then we look at the box cover. They're riding birds. Those aren't dragons. There's a bird. There's a bird. There's a bird. They're birds. There's a guy with wings. What's that about? What's a guy have wings on? He's got wings. Why is it? I think they just saw. I honestly think they saw this at a paintings thing and said, "Hey, let's buy this. This would look good for a cover, and let's get someone else to draw some real dragons." This has nothing to do with the game. This is so confusing. It's not done about bird riders or dragon riders. And none of the dragons look like birds, except that one I showed you. None of them look like birds. This is so weird. The production value on it, just some odd choices there. And it may be enough from, it's almost like I want to get the right pieces for this game, just to make it better. And that's the thing that kind of sucks about it. And that's why it may not get into my top 100. If it did have nice pieces, it may be in my top 100. I hate to say that, but the game pieces are just so random. Some things are cardboard, some things are cubes, some things are this. You're like, well, why? But I guess it was what's on sale at the discount bin when they made this game. Now, this game is very cheap. You can get it for like 10, 15, 20 bucks. Definitely worth it. The expansion is going to cost a little bit more than that, 30, 40 bucks. To be honest, the expansion's worth it. It is. We have a lot of fun with the expansion. We play with the expansion all the time. The little promo deck that as of this video, you can get on the BGG store. But if it's sold out and you can't get it, don't worry about it. I mean, I got it, yay! But do I need it? Do I love it? No, I mean, there's nothing special, just extra stuff for the expansion. But I would get the expansion because the expansion just adds more to it. Now, this thing is a table hog. Man, that board is huge. But the artwork's nice. The game is nice. And I do love the game. So if you're in the mood for a worker placement game that's simple, fun, and adventurous, and very thematic, and has good art, but makes no sense with pieces and artwork, then I can recommend Simurgh. This is how you pronounce Smurf if you're in medieval times, I think. Anyway, folks, that's all the time I have for now. Until next time, gamers, game on!